So now we're going to create another new component to store our list of activities. And what we'll do is we'll go into our Explorer window, and inside our dashboard we'll create another new file, and this one we'll call activitylist.tsx. And once again we'll use the RAFC snippet to create this. And what we want to use inside here is a semantic UI component that's best served to display a list of things. So if we head over to semantic UI, and let's take a look, first of all we'll take a look at the list element. Now this is really just an equivalent of using an unordered list. And it's not quite what we're looking for displaying our list of activities. But there's an alternative option, and if we take a look at the views segment inside Semantic UI React and take a look at the item, then what we can utilize is an item group. And this is probably more appropriate for the type of content that we're displaying on our page. And what we can do is let's just copy the code from inside here to give us lists. And I'm just going to copy everything into my clipboard from the item group, and then just head over to VS Code again and just paste this inside my activity list. And we'll need to bring in item from Semantic UI React, and we'll also need to bring in the image, and that should be fine. And then if we go over to our activity dashboard, and let's just comment out our list for the time being, and instead replace it with our activity list. And if we go and take a look, this is going to look pretty awful at the moment. And sure enough it does, but this is going to be the foundation for what we're building here. And so let's go back and make some changes to our activity list. And first of all we'll remove this particular image, we don't need this. And we'll also remove the second item in here, so we're just working with a single item in our item group. And we'll just replace the static content in here just with our own little placeholders so we can see what we're doing. And in the header, this is going to be the title. In the item meta, we'll add the date inside here. Inside the description, I'm just going to remove this image and we'll just have a div, and this will be our description inside here. And I'll just copy this div down, and below this we'll have our city and our venue inside here. And inside the item extra, what we'll do is we'll add a button, a semantic UI button, so we'll need to import this. And what we'll do is we'll make this floated to the right. The content for this will be equal to view, and the color of this button will be blue. And we'll also add a label inside here. And again, we'll bring this in from Semantic UI. And we'll make this a basic label, and its content we'll just put to category at the moment. And if we go and see how we're doing here, well, still not looking great. So we've still got some improvements to make here. And what we want to do is make this stand out from the page. And the way that we can do that is by using a Semantic UI segment and wrap that around our item group. So just above the item group, I'm just going to bring in segment from Semantic UI, and I'm going to cut and paste the item group inside the segment. Now because we're using a float on our button here, what we want to do is clear any other floats above, otherwise we run into some weird CSS issues. And what we can do on our segment is make it a clearing segment which clears any other floated content. What we also want to do is make our item group divided, so it adds a divider in between each item. And if we just copy the item itself and just paste a duplicate of this item below, let's go and take a look and see what this looks like. And that looks a bit better. It now stands out from our page, it feels a bit cleaner. And let's go ahead and bring our activities into our activity list now. So in our activity dashboard, what we need to do is pass our activities down as props to our activity list. So once again, I'll just say activities equals activities. And of course we get the same problem here because we need to tell our activity list about the props we're passing down, and it's going to be the same props. So I'm just going to copy these into my clipboard, go to the activity list and just paste these above the class here, and I'll just need to bring iActivity in as well from our models activity. And I can see an image that I'm not using in my imports here, so I'll just remove this at the same time. And then we need to specify the type of the React components. This is going to be React FC, and then we just pass in our iProps into this. And then we can destructure our activities from this. And what we want to do inside our item group is map over our activities so that we can loop through them, and each item is going to represent an activity. So I'm going to say activities.map, and then in here I can specify activity, and then inside this expression I can just copy one of my items and cut and paste it inside here and remove the second item that we don't need. And I'll just come up and reformat, and we'll need to give our item a key. So we'll give it a key and we'll say it's the activity.id, and then we'll swap title for activity.title. The date will make activity.date. The description will be activity.description, and then the city will be activity.city, and the venue will be activity.venue, and then we'll swap the category text inside here for an expression and say activity.category. And if we go and take a look and see how this is doing, what we'll find now is we've now got our list of activities presented on our activity dashboard page. So far so good. And what we want to do next is display the details of the activity on the right hand side of this page, and that's the look we're going for at this early stage. It's not going to be the final look of our application, but for convenience, because we haven't introduced any routing into our application yet, we'll have a kind of list and detail view, and the detail view will take up the right hand part of the page. So we'll create an activity details component next.